Oliver Watts was not like other children, and he knew it by the time he was 6. Not in the way people say all children are unique, or special, or bursting with potential, but in the way that he could tell the exact number of leaves on a tree after a single glance, or name the chemical composition of chewing gum by smell alone, or correct the local weather app using just the air pressure in his ears. His mind moved like lightning trapped in a glass bottle, dangerous if shaken, brilliant if left alone. By the time he was 10, he had read every physics textbook in his town library, learned 3 languages no one had taught him, and created a working model of a fusion engine using spare bicycle parts and a toaster. Adults smiled nervously around him. Teachers called him gifted, but difficult. He wasn't mean. He wasn't loud, but he asked questions that made people uncomfortable and pointed out patterns no one else wanted to see. His classmates teased him with whispers and side glances. Rain Man, Alien Boy, Ollibot. He didn't fight back. He just watched and learned and waited because Oliver knew something they didn't. He wasn't trying to fit into the world. He was trying to understand it before it broke. His mother, soft-voiced and strong-spined, tried her best to protect him. She created color-coded calendars and invented daily routines that helped keep his thoughts tethered to time. She bought soundproofed headphones and spoke to him in metaphors, knowing he understood concepts better than emotion, but even she couldn't slow the speed of his thinking. Sometimes he wouldn't sleep for 2 days straight, consumed by the architecture of numbers, drawing impossible diagrams across the windows with dry erase markers, muttering solutions to problems he hadn't even shared. Then, just as quickly, he'd collapse into stillness, eyes closed as if listening to a song only he could hear. And one day, when he was 12, he told her, very calmly, "There's something wrong with the world, Mom, and I think I'm supposed to fix it." She brushed it off as anxiety or imagination, or maybe both, until the clocks began to glitch. It started subtly, school bells ringing from minutes to early, train schedules losing consistency, even satellites sending slightly distorted time stamps. Scientists blamed solar interference, then a hacking bug, then quantum anomalies, but none of it held, because the more they searched, the less they found. And in the middle of it all, quietly scribbling a new kind of code into the pages of an old math notebook, was Oliver Watts. The twist came when a researcher from an obscure division of the government, the Department of Temporal Calibration, arrived at Oliver S. house, holding one of his window-marked diagrams and shaking hands. "You reverse engineered our backup lattice," she whispered. "But we never published this. We never even built it. How did you see it?" Oliver didn't answer, because by then, he wasn't speaking in full sentences anymore. His thoughts had moved so far ahead, they brought him in, not forcefully, but urgently, gave him access to their systems, asked him how he knew about temporal drift, and why his sketches matched their most confidential stabilization algorithms. That is when he told them the truth. That time wasn't he breaking on its own. It was being held together by instinct, and that instinct was his. That for years he had felt something vibrating under the surface of reality, like a piano wire stretched too tight, and his mind, his gift, wasn't a glitch. It was a counterweight. He wasn't just intelligent. He was neurologically tethered to the fragile mechanisms of time itself. His thoughts didn't just process equations, they translated quantum tension into solvable patterns. And if he ever stopped, if he ever got too tired, too sick, too overwhelmed, the world would start to unravel. They didn't believe him until the clock stopped for 7 full seconds. When he fell asleep during testing, 7 seconds that no one remembered, but that showed up on every atomic record. After that, they stopped questioning. They started protecting. Oliver was placed under a new kind of care, surrounded not by guards, but by silence. A room built of curved light and soundless threads, designed to keep his mind soothed and sharp. He was fed data in gentle rhythms, given days of rest for every hour of work. And no one, except a handful of engineers and his mother, ever saw him again. But the world stabilized. The clocks aligned. Seasons unfolded on time again. And people forgot there had ever been a drift The twist, of course, wasn't that Oliver Watts had an unstoppable mind. It was that the world had been running on it all along.